Debian 14 Forky, everything you need to know. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you are a Linux user, a system administrator, or just someone who follows the open source world closely, today's video is for you. We are talking about Debian 14, codenamed Forky, and trust me, this upcoming release is shaping up to be one of the most significant in Debian's entire history. So let's get into it. So what is Debian Forky? First, a quick refresher. Debian is one of the oldest and most respected Linux distributions out there, and it forms the foundation for dozens of other popular distros, including Ubuntu. Every major Debian release gets a codename taken from a Toy Story character, and the next one is Forky, based on the Spark character from Toy Story 4. Debian 13, codenamed Drexel, was officially released in August 2025. Right after that, development on Debian 14 Forky kicked off, and it's currently living in Debian's testing branch. We are roughly at the halfway point of its development cycle, and already some big features are surfacing. The expected release window, sometime between June and August 2027. No firm date yet. And the team hasn't even published the first release candidate of the Debian installer. But what's already been announced is genuinely exciting. Now, let's talk about the reproducible builds, a landmark security move. This is probably the biggest news out of the Forky development cycle so far. And it has massive implications for the security of the entire Linux ecosystem. The Debian release team has officially announced that Debian 14 Forky will require all packages to be reproducible builds. So, what does that actually mean? A reproducible build means that if you take the same source code, the same set of build instructions, and the same build environment, you should be able to compile a package and get a bit for a bit identical binary every single time, no matter who does the building or where. This might sound simple, but it's actually incredibly hard to achieve at scale across thousands of packages. Why does this matter? Because it closes a serious and often overlooked attack vector. When software builds produce slightly different binaries each time, it becomes very difficult to verify whether the package you downloaded is actually what the developers intended to ship, or whether someone has quietly slipped something malicious into the binary. With reproducible builds enforced, anyone can independently verify that what's in the Debian's archive is clean. The Debian release team has now gone a step further. This is no longer just a goal or a best practice. It is a hard requirement. Packages that fail to meet reproducibility standards will be blocked from entering the archive entirely. Existing packages in the testing branch that regress in reproducibility will also be flagged and held back. This move was heavily supported by the work of the broader reproducible build project, a cross-distribution effort that's been pushing for this standard across the open source world for years. Debian joining as an enforcer, not just a participant, is a major win for software supply chain security globally. Now, about the Long Arch 64, a new architecture joins the family. The second major feature to highlight is hardware architecture support. Debian 14 Forky will officially ship with the support for the Long Arch 64 architecture, also referred to internally within Debian as Long 64. Now, a bit of background here. Long Arch is a processor architecture developed by the Chinese semiconductor company Longsun. It's a relatively modern, RISC based design, and it's been gaining traction as China continues to invest in domestically developed computing hardware. This architecture was first bootstrapped inside the Debian Ports project back in August 2023, and its official promotion to a supported architecture was formally announced in December 2025. By the time it was announced, the groundwork was already well laid. Over 100 packages has been manually built and imported. An initial build environment had been set up, and the first automated build daemon was already tuning through the build queue, reportedly producing 300 new packages on its very first night. With Forky, Long 64 joins Debian's lineup of officially supported architectures, which already includes AMD 64, ARM 64, ARM-H, RISC-V 64, PPC 64EL, and S390X. This makes Debian one of the most architectural diverse Linux distributions available, a testament to the community's commitment to supporting hardware across the global computing landscape. Now, about the APT getting a major upgrade, rollback, undo, and history. Here is a feature that everyday Debian users are going to absolutely love. Debian 14 Forky will be the first Debian release to ship with the native rollback, undo, redo, and history functionality in APT, the default package manager. If you have used Fedora, RHEL, or any other Red Hat based distribution, you might already know what this feels like. Those distros have had the ability to roll back system updates for years using DNFS history and rollback commands. Debian has been without this capability natively until now. These features landed with the APT 3.2 release and will be fully integrated into Forky. What this means practically is that if you install or upgrade a package and something breaks, you will be able to undo that change and restore your system to its previous state directly through APT. No manual workarounds, no third party tools. This is a big deal, especially for servers and production environments, where stability is critical. Mistakes happen, packages conflict, update breaks configurations, and having a native safety net built right into the package manager is a long overdue quality of life improvement. Now, how to try Forky right now. So you are excited and you want to get your hands on Forky before its official release. Here are your options. Since Debian 14 currently lives in the Debian testing branch, you have two main paths. Option 1. If you are already running Debian 13 stable, you can migrate your installation to the testing branch by updating your source list. Just be aware, testing is not as polished as stable. You may encounter occasional bugs or package gaps, and security updates aren't managed with the same urgency as the stable branch. Now, option 2. Try a Debian testing based distribution. A great example is Sparky Linux rolling, which tracks Debian testing and gives you a more ready to use experience without having to manually manage the migration. It's a solid option if you want to get a feel for the latest packages without diving into a raw testing setup. Either way, just keep in mind this is a pre release development branch. Do not run it on critical production systems. But for testing, learning, or just staying ahead of the curve, it's perfectly usable. So, to wrap things up, Debian 14 Forky is still about a year away from its final release, but it's already stacking up to be a landmark version. Reproducible builds enforced system wide, a brand new architecture on board with long Arch64, and APT finally getting the rollback features users have wanted for years. The Debian team is clearly raising the bar on both security and usability. I'll keep covering Forky as it develops. So, if you don't want to miss any updates, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are you excited about reproducible builds? Have you used long arch hardware? I'd love to know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.